Welcome back to Studio G. I'm Brianna Haney, and today we're joined by Reuben D'Silva, CCSD teacher, U.S. military veteran, and Democratic candidate for Nevada's Congressional District 1. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me, Brianna.
Okay, so our first question for you is, just tell us a little bit about your background.
About my background, well, I am a Nevadan, but before that, I must say that I'm an immigrant. My family immigrated to the United States when I was a small child. We lived in New York City. And then when I was 6 years old, we moved to Las Vegas, and I've been here ever since. I went to C.P. Squires Elementary School, J.E. Manch Elementary School, St. Christopher's Catholic School for my middle school years, and attended Rancho High School. And I am a proud rebel, so go UNLV Rebels. I guess I'll start with the cheap applause line to get the interview going. But I did graduate from UNLV. I served in the United States Marine Corps. Went to war. I served in the Iraq War. I was injured out there. Took a sniper round through the arm in Fallujah, 2007, before coming back and finishing up here at UNLV. And I wanted to be a school teacher. In 2010, we really couldn't. I couldn't get into the career field because of the budget cuts. So I decided to apply to graduate schools, and got into a couple good programs. I got a master's degree from the University of Pennsylvania in global studies, and I also got a second master's degree from Yale University, where I studied comparative religion and politics. And my real interest in, while I was in grad school, was the role that religion plays in the globalization process, in diplomacy, understanding global affairs through the lens of a religion. And, you look at so many of our issues today, the global war on terrorism, Sudan, Israel, Palestine, there's always some sort of religious aspect there, and I wanted to understand those a little bit better. So after graduating from Yale, I got some good opportunities, great offers actually. I mean, they come to you, at those recruiting fairs, at places like Yale and Harvard, in the Ivy League. But my real motivation has always been to serve in the Clark County School District and to work here in Las Vegas in Southern Nevada. So I applied to the school district, and all my friends, even my family, tell me, "You're crazy. What are you doing? You have these other great opportunities, out in the East Coast, in California, overseas, but you want to come back and teach here?" I said, "Yeah, because." That was my calling. That's really what I felt was the right thing to do, and it's always been a passion of mine to work in public school settings. And I have my dream job. I say that teaching high school is the best dang career in America. I love what I do, and the greatest thing about what I do is the fact that I get to teach at my high school, the high school that I graduated from, Rancho High School, and I've been there ever since.
That's wonderful. So that's a perfect way to transition. How do you feel about higher education? What is your stance?
Oh, I'm a supporter for the free college program, and yes, this is something that the Bernie Sanders campaign talked about extensively during the last presidential election, the 2016 election, and I'm glad that he did. If you look at most of the developed economies around the world, they have an opportunity for folks, citizens, residents, people who live in that country, to actually attend college for free or make it very affordable. And again, this is because of the changing economy. You look at the global economy, it's changing one from an industrial-based economy to one that's really focused on information, technology, so on and so forth. So just having a high school diploma isn't cutting it anymore. So your entryway into the global economy now is a college degree, some sort of four-year degree program or a certification that makes you a more expert in technology or gives you more experience in those sectors. So that's why I'm a big proponent of the free college program, and I think that that's the direction that we should orient ourselves when it comes to higher education here in this country.
That is very interesting. I like that. It's very progressive. We could really use some of that. So my next question for you has to do with immigration, and particularly your stance on immigration and DACA.
Well, I'm an immigrant myself. And I was an individual who was in this country without documents for many years. So this is an issue that's very near and dear to my heart. It's an issue that I feel very intimately about. And I teach at a high school that has a significant amount of DACA recipients. So I am a strong supporter of the DACA program. I am also a strong supporter of the DREAM Act, which we need to pass here soon. It's overdue, to be honest with you. But more importantly, the overarching goal here has always been a comprehensive immigration reform legislation packet with a pathway to citizenship. The pathway to citizenship is absolutely crucial. There's a lot of talk about putting together a immigration plan that doesn't have a citizenship component. But the citizenship is essential, because this is how you now invest these 11 to 13 million folks who are out there without documents into the social fabrics of this country. And it would be just a immoral thing, I believe, to have that many people now who will never be able to get their citizenship and will never be able to become 100% Americans. It'll create literally a second-class citizenry in this country, and that is something that we have to avoid. So when it comes to immigration, I'm a strong proponent of immigration reform with a pathway to citizenship.
That's, yes. Here, you know that at UNLV we are a highly diverse campus. So there are a lot of students here who are undocumented and who have been affected by DACA and the DREAM Act. So thank you. And what are your thoughts on gun control? Quickly.
Yeah, it's we have our country is one of the most armed countries in the world. There's a strong heritage here, a strong legacy of gun ownership. It's become a symbol of freedom, in this nation. And we do have the Second Amendment that protects the right of citizens to bear arms. But on the same token, I think there needs to be some kind of common sense approaches to this. I'm a supporter of federal background checks on arms purchases, of weapons purchases, whether they're rifles, whether they're pistols, so on and so forth. And again, this is a way of mitigating and catching some folks who shouldn't be having weapons in their control. So that's one step forward. But again, in the end, it's a very complex issue. There's a lot of powerful special interests out there who don't even want to see something as minimal as a background check on a weapons purchase. So it's going to be a fight that I think needs to be had. And again, here in Las Vegas, we just had one of the most tragic events that has ever taken place in our country happen here in our hometown. So it's incumbent upon ourselves, I think, who are those of us who are from this city, who love this city, to give this a solid look and to really fight for some sort of common sense approach to keeping weapons out of the hands of people who shouldn't have them, but on the same token protecting that enshrined constitutional right of the right to bear arms.
Thank you. On that note, that's all the time we have. Once again, I would like to thank Reuben D'Silva for coming in today, and we'll be right back with more Studio G.